Hey, fantasy fans, this is Dan here with TreeBeard Book Reviews, and this week I'm reviewing Guards by Terry Pratchett. Okay, Guards, let's get into this one. This book is the eighth book in the Discworld series by Terry Pratchett, which consists of 42 books spanning different types of characters, but this one really focuses on the City Watch. It's the first City Watch book that focuses on the Ankh-Morpork Night Watch. Um, and so this book here, like I said, in this discussion, is going to be spoiler-free. And this is really, all these videos are really just mainly my opinion on the books, whether that's right, whether it's wrong. I just kind of want to get you a sense of like how I felt about this book. And again, I'm going to talk about what I liked about the book. What are some negatives, if any? And I'm also going to maybe briefly talk about what Discworld is and like where you should jump into Discworld. So looking at these guard books is that they're when you picture the City Watch, you know, they're the type of characters who die within the first minute of either meeting the hero or they're just fodder for the bad guy to kill. But not in this book. So this book focuses around the Night Watch, which is captained by Captain Samuel Vimes. And then there's also Sergeant Colon, Corporal Nobby Nobbs, and then there's a new recruit, Carrot Iron Founderson. So I'm going to I'll talk about all the characters later on in the section when I talk about the good. And so what happens in this book, like I said, spoiler-free, is that the Night Watch have to stop a rampaging dragon that is destroying the city of Ankh-Morpork, the capital city of the Discworld. So this adventure really starts off, you meet the cynical Captain Samuel Vimes, who's a bit of a drunk, kind of down on his luck. Just really, he's a few years from retirement, and he's just kind of had enough, just fed up with the watch. But then a new member joins the watch, Carrot, and he really kind of brings life back into the City Watch. And so the Watcher investigating that this dragon that keeps popping up to wreak havoc and terrorize the citizens of Ankh-Morpork. And then they meet other interesting characters such as Sybil Rankin, who is, she breeds swamp dragons. And so they enlist the help of her to learn more about dragons. And eventually, like the Night's Watch go on this adventure to save the city. So let's get into the good with this book. So this is a great book. I really enjoyed this book. It's just some of the things that I really enjoyed, like, especially with Discworld books in general, is the humor. The humor, like I was laughing all the time reading this book, like just the simple quips with like Captain Vimes and Carrot and some of the other like side characters, like again Sergeant Colon and Corporal Nobby Nobbs. And I guess that's really the next thing I want to talk about is what else is good is the characters. The characters in this book are so funny, and they just keep this story just so interesting. So I guess we'll start off with like really the main protagonist, which is Captain Vimes. Like I said, he's like a drunk, he's cynical, he's been in the Night Watch, and he's a few years from retirement, and he's just kind of fed up of it all, and he just doesn't care. Like he's just lost all of his motivation. And then when like it all starts to change for him when Carrot Founderson, who is he's a 6'6" red-headed dwarf. So he was actually adopted by dwarves, and he was sent by his father to volunteer for the Honorable Night Watch. But which is, you know, grown over the years not so honorable. So some of these characters are either incompetent, cynical, or even criminals themselves. So it's really like so Carrot is this really honest, like just a pure soul who really is about getting, like, seeing the better in people. And so what Carrot really sets out to do is rejuvenate the Night Watch. And he really makes the whole story kind of move forward because of the charisma in this character and his kind of really naive sense of things. And like Ankh-Morpork, the city that the Night Watch is in is, it's like I said, it's like the shadiest city you can think of. Like there's thieves guilds, merchant guilds, there's the beggars guild, the assassins guild. So this city has legalized crime because they can pay taxes. So again, like Carrot, such a great character, has so much fun with Carrot. I guess to get back on the rest of the Night's Watch, so you have Sergeant Colon. I can't really say too much about Colon. He's more of like a comedic figure where he's just this incompetent, like overweight sergeant who really doesn't want any responsibility, and he just gets by being in the Night's Watch. It's like a totally incompetent character, but he's just great comedic humor. And then there's Corporal Nobby Nobbs, who's literally described as inhuman, and like he's always smoking, and he's just one of those shady, like he would be a thief, or he's like one of those, he's like the dirty cop you have because he can speak with the underworld kind of thing. So he's a really funny character, Nobby, but again, he's just a super shady character. And then I guess the character I touched on earlier, Lady Sybil Rankin. And like I said, the Watch approach her to get more information about dragons, and she really helps them to figure out more about dragons. And then you also learn about this other type of dragon, the swamp dragons, which are hilarious in their own right, where they just explode. So again, like so many good things to say about this book. Like the plot is excellent, the characters are so good, and like the bad guy, he like it's interesting too with the bad guys. And I guess the other thing too is as a recurring character in the Discworld is Death. So Death is like he's a personification of death, and he's really kind of seen as like a civil servant who ushers people to the afterlife. So Death is also in this book. It's always hilarious when like Death's around. So yeah, so that was what I would have to say is really great about this book. Okay, so now let's touch on some of the bad parts. Really, I can't say many bad things about this book. I love this book. The only bad maybe would be just the maybe the villain a little bit, like because the dragon is like the main villain, but there's these other like minor villains who are kind of involved with the dragon, which weren't as interesting. Like they still had their comedic elements, but like the reveal was quite obvious. Other than that, like there really isn't anything bad to say about this book. I love this book. This book's so much fun. I will get into my rating at the end, but first I really want to talk about what is the Discworld, and what is this universe that's created by Terry Pratchett, and why I think you should read it and where you should start. So again, as I said, it's a 42 book series where it consists of multiple series like the Wizards, the Witches, the Night Watch, as we just discussed, and then Tiffany Aching as well. So there's many kind of jumping in points to where you want to start. So where I started originally with the Discworld was I started with Going Postal, which is Terry Pratchett's 33rd book. I will eventually be doing a review of Going Postal. And that is one of the jumping in points you can do. But I would highly recommend, if you're new to Discworld, start with Guards. Do not start with the first book, The Color of Magic. Start with Guards. It's a great book. It's a great entry. You don't need a lot of like back knowledge, because like it dives you straight into the city. You learn about the magic, and like the thing is, like the Discworld, it's meant to be ridiculous. So it's total satire, and again, the Discworld is a disc planet that's on the back of 4 elephants that's standing on the shell of the Great Otwin, a giant celestial turtle that flies through space. Okay, so let's wrap this up. So Guards. What would I give Guards? I'm going to give Guards 5 out of 5 stars. Like I said, I love this book. I love the Discworld. It's slowly becoming one of my favorite series. I've read about 9 books in the Discworld universe so far. I've really loved every book. I can't say there's been a bad book, and more of these books are gonna be coming out on my channel. So just keep your eyes open for those. Most likely the next book I will be reviewing will be a Terry Pratchett book. I will also be doing a monthly recap, just to kind of talk about what to expect for the month of September, and what I'm going to be reading, and the sort of reviews to look out for. So again, Guards, read it. It's a great book. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.